You ever like putting your hands on the floor and like jumping around and spinning a little bit? Hey everyone, welcome to this week's video lesson. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do a one-handed cartwheel, palm kick, L kick, and gumby. All you need for this lesson is going to be some nice open floor, hopefully something soft, and it's going to be a lot of fun. With that said, we're going to get started with a one-handed cartwheel. So it should probably come without saying that if you're trying to do some cartwheel variations, you should definitely have a solid cartwheel first. And I'm not talking about just a cartwheel where you can go around and get back up to your feet. I'm talking about a cartwheel where you can go perfectly straight over your head in a straight line, starting one direction and landing the other. If you can't quite do that yet, we do have a lesson on cartwheels that I'm going to recommend you go back and watch, practice that, get really good at those, because that will be essential for this lesson. But if you already have that, then we're going to be doing one-handed cartwheels first. Now for a one-handed cartwheel, what you're going to be doing is using your front arm, and instead of putting it right below your shoulder, as you usually would having two arms, you're going to be putting your front arm above your head, as that'll be your center of weight that you're balancing on. So like this, go in here, use my front arm, and over. Now another really important part about this is we only put one hand on the floor, but we are really using our back arm for a lot of this too. Our back arm is still gonna be how we generate a lot of our power, and it's gonna be what we use in the air to balance. So when we're in our lunge stance, our front arm is forward. We're gonna drop down and we're gonna really lift up with our back arm, like a punch up to the air. That's gonna give us some rotation energy. Then while we're in the air, we're gonna use our arm, however we need to balance us out. Similar to what we do in a butterfly kick if you watched last week's lesson. So, go ahead and pause, practice that as usual, and get used to it so we can move on to the next one. Alright, so this next one's a palm kick. And a palm kick's pretty similar, except you're going to be using your back arm, which does change a lot of it. Number one, a palm kick is usually not done perfectly straight over. It's going to be a more off-axis cartwheel, and you're going to be reaching your arm across you. This might feel uncomfortable for a lot of people at first, but this is the correct way to do it. So a palm kick looks like this, and there's a reason we call it a palm kick. It has a significant kick motion to it in the air. So what we're doing is we're starting, instead of forward, we're going to start in a sideways stance. We're going to reach our back arm across our body over down to the floor. Now if you notice, my palm is facing behind me, not in front of me. That's really important for this move, similar to like doing a reverse vault. So I'm going to have my hand going around, facing backward, and from here, this arm is going to be tucking around a little bit while we are kicking our back leg up really hard, because that's where our energy is going to be coming from. So you don't have to worry about too much of what your front arm is doing, unlike the one-handed cartwheel. It's going to be mainly your legs driving you around. So you're going to use back arm, getting down, really kick that back leg up, follow through to the floor, and your second leg is going to be doing a hook kick motion down to the floor. So one more time, starting our sideways stance, back arm, reaching across, kick our back leg, bring to the floor, hook kick. That is our palm kick. Oh yeah, by the way, palm kicks are really cool. They're a great power setup move for other setup moves. For instance, my favorite one is doing a palm kick to a master spear, which is a really powerful setup. So if you work on your palm kick a lot, it'll really pay off in the future when you want to learn some other moves. So do these, they're really fun. All right, so next up, we got an L kick. And you might be saying, Coach, what on earth is an L kick? An L kick is another tricking move that's gonna build off of our palm kick and turn into something a little more flashy. So, a couple key differences in this is that, number one, we're gonna be doing a cheat step. Cheat step is where you step around, from your normal stance, the way you do your cartwheel, to your off stance. So we're gonna be doing that for one, and the other thing that's gonna make it different is we're kicking our other leg, but it's still our back leg after that cheat step. What's the same is you're still gonna be using your back arm, and your palm still needs to face that way. Now, an L kick looks like this. See all those kicks I did? They're really cool. And what we're doing in the air is once we get here, we're gonna give 2 solid swipes in there. We're gonna go 1, 2, with a lot of aggression. It's just switching your legs back and forth twice, and it gives it a really cool kick. Do the kicks, it's nice. So you're gonna go here, start your sideways stance, step around, palm down, kick, kick, kick. And that is an L kick. All right, so I hope you guys are following along and doing pretty well so far. This next one though is gonna be quite a lot harder. We're gonna learn how to do a gumby. A lot of people struggle with a gumby. And part of it is that it's gonna take more flexibility, and you're gonna need to know how to do a solid cartwheel, not just on your normal side, but on your opposite side too. So if you can't quite do that yet, again, go back to that cartwheel lesson and do everything we taught you then, but on your other side. You're really, really going to need to be able to do an excellent cartwheel on your opposite side, starting perfectly forward and ending perfectly backward. That is essential for a gumby. If you do have that, there's another thing I gotta say. That's what I said, you'll only need the floor. I forgot, for a gumby, we're gonna start using a wall to understand this move a little bit easier. So, try to find a wall, any wall. Doesn't have to be something you can grab the top on. You just need something you can put your hands against. And next, you'll see why. All right, so for the gumby, we gotta do some special stuff with our arms. We throw them in a weird way. So you're gonna start in your normal stance, and you're gonna do a cheat step again. Once you're in your cheat step, you're gonna put your front arm upside down on the wall. This is where it's gonna get a little different. Our other arm is gonna throw around in a full circle all the way up until our shoulders turn over, and we're gonna put both hands upside down on the wall. While you do this, I don't want you to be in this position. I want your head to be looking at the wall. This is the motion you do on the floor in a gumby, and if you don't do it here first, when you do it on the floor, it's probably gonna feel pretty uncomfortable. So do this a bunch of times and get it really, really comfortable. One more time, it's starting in our normal stance, taking a cheat step around, front arm on the wall, upside down, back arm, throw around backward to here. Practice that until you can do it really smoothly. So it's comfy, and so you're not gonna struggle with the next part. Once you got that, let's go back to the floor. All right, so this next step is going to be an optional step. And that's because it's gonna take quite a bit of back flexibility and potentially shoulder flexibility too. So you're gonna need to find a line on the floor. Luckily I got this little line right here, but if you don't have that, you gotta find something. So I'm gonna use this as an example. It's a little mat, put it right here. So we're gonna try exactly what we did on the wall, but with this mat on the floor. So you're gonna start in a front crawl QM position. You're gonna put your inside hand, the one closer to your object, on it, but you're gonna put it on it upside down. Whatever hand was your first hand that you put upside down before, same one here. What we're gonna do is you're going to step your foot across and reach your arm around backward to get to here. So it's transitioning from a QM crawl position to a bridge. If you can't do that, that's totally fine. I find this step to be really helpful for a lot of people, but if you can't do it, the next step will be perfect for you. If you can, like I just said, this will be really useful, so try it out. But next, we're gonna go stand back up and try some other stuff. The next step, we're actually gonna kind of go a couple steps back. We're gonna go back to doing those cartwheels on our opposite side. We're gonna start to change them a bit. So, we're gonna go here, just do some cartwheels. But now, we're gonna be changing our hip positioning and our shoulder positioning. Instead of being here in our cartwheel, we're gonna try to be here in our cartwheel. It will feel uncomfortable. It's not something you're used to. it's gonna be strange. But this is what a Gumby is. So we're gonna start in that stance, and we're gonna put our first arm down, swing our back arm, just like we would for the Gumby now. Behind us, and it'll help open up our hips and shoulders a bit. So we're gonna go here, like that. If you keep working on that, you're gonna try to bring your hand, instead of being in line this way, you're gonna start to bring it a little bit behind your other hand. So be more like this. So right here. So you saw my hand, first one was here, and my second hand was just slightly to the side. What we're gonna do after we've got that, we're starting to get that hip and shoulder positioning. We're gonna go back to this line on the floor, like if you did the last optional step. You're gonna use the line, and you're gonna try to do what we did on the wall, on the floor in our cartwheel. So you're gonna do your cheat step again. You're gonna go step around. First hand is gonna go backward on that line. Second hand, throwing way up around our head, going behind us. We're gonna get them both backward on the line and then bring our feet down to the floor. So look just like this. I go cheat step, just like that. And once you can do that, that's a Gumby. So it's also gonna be really important that you're coming out of this 1 foot at a time, as this move is meant for a power move setup with the swing of the leg for things like corks, chi gainers, those sort of things. If you've gotten this far, you've gotten a Gumby. Congrats. These are a move that a lot of people struggle with. So if you didn't get it, that's fine. Take some time, really work on it. Again, that cartwheel on the opposite side is super important. Shoulder flexibility, hip flexibility, super important. Get all those down, it'll make it easier. And that's a Gumby, and that's our lesson for today. Gumbies, I love them. They're so fun. I do them all the time. I hope you like them. I hope you like this lesson, and I will see you in the next one. See you later.